Welcome back, everybody. It is a red, white, and blue day here at God Bless Golf. As always, joined by the host himself, the founder, Chip Rook, the Panda, and Timmy Tucker below me here. Really looking forward to this week, guys. This weekend, spending some family time. But before all that, we got to get back to what's been going on here on our board and get right to what was the Travelers Championship, another run at Scotty Scheffler being short. Panda, how we doing today? And give me your first thoughts, first takeaways from Travelers, and what's going on.
Yeah, God bless God, boys. Good to be back in the house. Yeah, great tournament this weekend. Went to a Monday finish. Of course, as I'm in the car at 9:00, I'm getting the play-by-play. I'm thinking they're both going to birdie this hole like 4 or 5 times. Then it ends after one. Good for Victor Hovland. Don't know the guy. Seems like a great dude. And has just had some epic videos of him doing some ridiculous, in my opinion, swing stuff with water wings and pool noodles. But the guy won a PGA Tour event. I'm not sure how many that is for him, but just another great week. And truthfully, it's kind of nice, and I'm sure Tim will speak to this. To have a little break. It's been a bit of an overload of just like golf that you must watch. Not that we don't love it, but it has just been like one after another after another. Nice to take a deep breath.
Agreed.
Too bad for Scotty. I know he really did not want to miss that putt on Sunday night, and unfortunately just either got a bad read or pulled it on Monday morning. But
Looked like a heel pull, not going to lie.
yeah,
Any
great
other thoughts?
event. I mean, all the guys that are playing well are still playing well, and I'm sure Timmy will speak to that. His boy once again played his third tour event, made the cut, played 4 days in a row. So shout out Ben James, quite a welcome to the PGA Tour, in about 21 total days.
Yeah.
So yeah, just looking forward to the fourth and what's going on.
Timmy, how about you? What do you think about takeaway from the Travelers? How was y'all's week out there? No grades, just vibes. You guys still feeling good about what's going on and what you guys got coming up?
Yeah, we do. I mean, he's, disappointed. He had a long stretch of golf, so I saw some tired swings on the weekend. A little frustration, but he handled it nicely. And, figuring out a way to get better. We need to work on some spin on, coming off the clubs. He spins it a lot and spinning it off greens where, we shouldn't have to, hit a shot 10 feet or 10 yards past the hole to have it rest near the hole. So he's going to work on that this week. He went to Titleist, did some work. So, but he's off to a great start. And I did tell him, I said, look, we need to look into some goal setting for you because, golf is a very negative sport, or can be, right? You're obviously want to win every tournament. That's your intent going in. But the problem is if you won every year for 20 years, you'd be a legend in golf. So it's like, how do I get him, a kid that's been top fiving every single week and beating up on kids in college, and he comes out here on tour and he's finishing 51st, 62nd, 23rd, how do you manage expectations and not dive off the deep end before we even get started? So that sounds like I compiled some stats for him of best players, Ludwig, Tiger, and Scotty, to look at what they did their first full season, which will start for us, next year. But I think those are 3 great guys to compare him to, or that he should strive to be like. And really, you look at what they accomplished in their first years on tour, or their first year on tour, other than Tiger, of course. He was elite. He won 4 times. But the other 2 didn't win. And in their first full season on tour, and they're 2 of the best players in the world. So I hope that helps him manage his expectations so he can move forward and not freak out about not finishing in the top 10 every week.
Yeah, I got to double down on what you said there for any young golfer out there. Look, set a goal and then reverse engineer your way back to it, right? And I think with guys like you, Timmy, and you're the one who taught me a lot about process in the moment on week-to-week basis, what we're doing to get better. When you have goals, you can have a good process. When you don't have goals, it's hard to generate a good process to figure out where you're going, especially for a young kid who's just been playing. I'm sure he's had some type of disciplinary regimen, but guys out there freewheeling it, trying to figure out his way out there on tour. So having goals, young fellas, have some goals and go after them. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that too about the expectation, because we've spoke about that on numerous podcasts. For those that haven't listened to all of them, we've covered these things with expectations, whether you're a 10 handicapper, a scratch golfer, a mid amateur, an amateur, or as a professional. And I think it goes back to, I always use Jordan Spieth as a great example. The guy had 3 majors by the time he was 23. Probably never going to win another one, maybe one, right? I doubt. Hard to win one more, certainly probably not going to win 2 more, but yet his expectations, 4 years into his professional career was like, man, I'm going to win all these majors. Now, obviously it's a lot harder than he made it look, because he made it look pretty darn easy. And he's obviously a world-class golfer, but that's a great point. And for Tim, for those listening, we've talked about this a lot too. Having a guy like Tim, obviously there's other caddies out there, but it's good to see and hear about these little interactions you're having with the player, because as a player, I certainly would want that from my caddy. And sometimes you're so in the moment of everything that's going on in this guy's life. This guy was in college being driven around for a living. Now he's making his own decisions, booking jets, booking hotels, or at least paying someone to do all that for him. So maybe it's easy to start focusing on all this other stuff, and you're keeping them right here. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do. But just so you know, no one's expecting you to be, win 4 times your first year. That was Tiger. But
Right.
certainly if you want to strive to be great, and I tell all these golfers, young guys, who's your guy that you're trying to be as good as? Because if you're not doing what they're doing, you're never going to catch them. So that's great stuff. And we're looking forward to what the rest of this year becomes. Real quick, Timmy, on the golf balls, he's a Titleist player. Does he just play at X, V? Is he
Double dot?
with
It
the
plays
dots
in
or
X. I think
dashes?
it's a 23 red number, right? I don't know
Mhm.
exactly. I'm not in tune with all the balls, but
Sure.
we did.
There's a million of them.
We knew it was going to
Yeah,
be wet
seriously.
in Connecticut. We knew the greens were going to be soft, and we tried the black ball, and they spun the same for him. The black ball did go further, but it still spun the same, which was interesting.
Yeah.
But like, he
Let me ask you a question
kind of
on
what
spin real
normal
quick.
tour players have.
To
Yes.
Yeah. So are you trying to spin it more to keep it straighter these days, like we do when I was growing up, trying to hit it straighter, or are we trying to have less spin to hit it straighter these days? That's, in my world of launch monitors, that's a interesting question, because for the lesser player, more spin tends to keep the ball and get it down, lets it float, keeps it in the air longer. Less spin would be more for, a player driving it. So are you guys trying to manage that spin rate to keep it straighter ball flight? Or are you trying to be able to have it? Because it's hard to move a golf ball these days, in my opinion. I mean, I do it, not with a plan in my head, but, on accident. So is it one of those things where he's trying to spin it more to keep it straighter and he's losing it on the greens? Or are we trying to knock spin off the club face so it doesn't spin on the green, kind of thing?
Yeah, he spins it really high. And so, like, typically the average tour player, if you have a 7-iron, you'd like to spin it around 7,000. Okay. If it's a 4-iron, you want to spin it around 4,000. He's about 800 or 900 over. So like for a 7-iron, he spins at 7,900. And I don't want to change anything in his set. Obviously what he has is, he knows, but I said, hey, see if Titleist can, or have Titleist make you another set identical to yours, but let's strengthen all the lofts 2 or 3 degrees to take that spin off. And all you're going to do is just hit it further. And we also, he has a 46 wedge, 50, 56 and 60. And he's spinning his 60 and 56 off the green. So I said any height is not an issue for him. So he has the luxury of taking that loft off. And I suggest to get a 54, 58 wedge. You can always open that around the green. Hopefully take some spin off the ball, because he does spin it. I don't want to change anything with his attack angle or any of that stuff. Not me personally, but I wouldn't like him to do that because he hits it so nicely. I do think that if he gets the spin down because he hits it so straight, and he hits it high enough, and again, we're not going under what's normal, but we're trying to get to normal. And I think it'll stabilize his ball a little bit better, especially in the wind, to keep the wind from knocking it down or ballooning it up. So that's the goal. That's the goal for this next week.
Yeah, just to kind of put a bow on that too, as we move along, here's a guy that was the #1 player in college. And if you guys want to know, like, what's the, obviously all these college players are great, but you want to start talking about differences between that level and then the level he is on here. The guy's played 3 fantastic weeks in what I would think as a professional debut, but he's already saying, okay, I mean, that's what these guys are doing to become the most elite players in the world. You got a guy that would beat anybody you've ever seen and know, and here he is now. Now we're fine tuning. Like, I got all the talent, I got this stuff. Now let's harness this up and see what this guy can do when he's running against the big horses. So that's exciting stuff, and it's really cool, and it's a lot of information about knowing your game and just what you want to improve on. So it's positive to hear all those things, and I'm sure it's going to be an interesting process as we go forward. Oh, before we move on to John Deere, I'll throw this back to Spice. What is your next event with him, Timmy?
Yeah, great question.
Next event we're off this week. He needed to take some time off. We're not in obviously the Open Championships. So we're playing in Louisville, ISCO, I believe it's called. Then we're playing in Punta Cana, in Dominican Republic.
Corrales.
Then we're going to finish up the last 3M Rocket Mortgage and Wyndham Championship in Greensboro.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Nice. So staying stateside for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, good.
As Panda mentioned, we got, and I talked about earlier in the show this afternoon. We're on July 4th weekend, and it doesn't get any more American than John Deere, especially for anybody who owns a little piece of property, or has a large piece of property, better yet. And it doesn't get any more fun for a family event than. And I want to hear Timmy's perspective on this for sure, from the times he's been there, the few times he's been there. But John Deere Classic is upon us. I want to make a small note here. This could be one of the last times we see the John Deere in full effect, I believe, maybe next year as well, because it is going to be probably on that secondary list in 2028. Cedar Rapids is not a big draw. Seems like the new guy is trying to get big draws, big cities, blah, blah, blah. So I want to glorify this a lot. God bless America. God bless July 4th. I mean, I don't think there's been a funnier moment in golf than when that boat sent off a firework and scared the crap out of Zach Johnson about 10 years ago. So John Deere, Chipper, first thoughts, and then I'll follow up with a couple of questions at the end here. But what do you love about the John Deere, and why is it such a great event? Why does it need to stay?
Well, I love Iowa. Okay, I think when you talk about like the heartbeat of America, that's one of the areas I always think of. I know some guys that are some great golfers from there. Some of the best golfers, amateur golfers of all time, have come from Iowa. And John Deere, honestly, one of my best memories of John Deere, and if you'll look over Timmy's right shoulder, you see a bib that says John Deere.
Yes, sir.
I'll never forget when Bryson hit that shot on 18. Months after Timmy was staying with me in Bartow, and next thing you know, he's on a flight to the British Open after Bryson won in 2017, I believe. It's just something cool about that tournament, and to your point, I know they are going to these bigger cities to try to do more and more stuff, which I guess moves the needle, but areas like that, golf courses like that, and for me, someone coming from Florida where everything's swampy and wet in the summer, I see that lush green and those divots that look like this.
Old beaver pelts.
Yeah, man, it just looks like a special place, and I know it's a town and a community that loves that tournament. And if it does go away, that's unfortunately just a sign of the times. But yeah, it's a cool tournament in a cool part of the world in the summer. Not gonna find me there in December, but June, July in Iowa seems like pretty nice.
A little Midwest snowdrift, not for you, not for pandas.
No,
They don't do that. It's not a natural habitat.
It's under 60 degrees.
Timmy, what's your obviously you and Bryson took the trophy home at the John Deere one year. But what's your favorite non-winning memory, or what's your favorite part about the John Deere?
The people are fantastic. They come out and support the place amazingly. They have all the equipment out there. It is great to take your kids out to the John Deere, but yeah, it is, man. It's middle America. It's an awesome place. People are great. And, I've had a host family a couple of times there. I've really enjoyed that, and I've kept those relationships. That's how nice these people are. But, yeah, dude, I love the tournament. Kirk finished great last year. Well, 2 years ago. No, it was last year, I guess. We finished 5th there. And, that tournament has just and helped a lot. And obviously any win, but it's a lower level field because most people are on their way over to the Open Championship. And, Jordan won there, his first event. Bryson did as well. A lot of first timers there, and just a great tournament. Man, they do such a great job trying to get these tour players there. Unfortunately, the schedule's so packed, it's hard to get the superstars there, but it is a great tournament, so fun to watch.
With that being said, with the lack of superstars, I got 3 questions for each of you. We'll start with the Panda. All right, I need a winner this week who's going to get himself, if you're not already qualified into the Open, give me a dark horse who might come out of nowhere, and like we talked about, this tournament can be springboard for younger guys. And then give me a winner, a dark horse, and a guy who is going to be the first round leader. Excuse me about that.
Well, I don't want to cheat because I see some scores already in for today as we're recording this. But I'm going to go with guys that haven't teed off yet. I'm going to go Chris Goddard up. I know he's been struggling a little bit. I believe he won the Scottish Open last year. I could be right, could be wrong about that. So he wants to probably make sure he's in form.
Agreed.
A guy like Ricky Fowler,
dark horse.
I'm sure. If he wins this, he goes the Open Championship. I don't know if he's qualified otherwise, but I'm going to go with him. And let's see, one other guy that hasn't teed off. I'm going to go with just a bunch of afternoon dudes haven't played yet. Hey, Cam Young. Look for him to have a good week as well. So I'm going Ricky Fowler, Cam Young, and Chris Goddard up. I like those 3 guys this week, and hopefully one of them will do well.
Who's leading at the end of the first day? And you can look at the current leaderboard if you want and give us a.
Someone's already quick 5 under. So
give me a top 3 on the board.
I'm gonna go Goddard up. What's that?
Okay.
Give me who's leading thus far.
Lucas Glover, 5 under through 9.
Oh, he loves it.
Smotherman,
Campos is 4
under through 10. Nick Dunlap, 3 under through 10. Nick Dunlap, guy, I would love to see him do well. Part of certainly the greatest team event I was ever on, the 2022 East-West matches at Merido. One is an amateur and has really been struggling. The guy's got all the game, so it'd be fun to see him play well and get back a little bit. But
yeah, shout out Nick Dunlap for standing up to what is golf. He had a real rough go of it earlier this year, and he didn't withdraw, he didn't do anything. He went right back up to the till and said, let me have another chance at it. Got back out there next
he's
day.
Too
so
good.
Love to see that.
He's young and good, and that's just a little confidence here and there, and maybe the right caddy on his bag or something. Who knows? Someone just point him in the right direction. So yeah, those are my 3 for the week, and look forward to seeing that over the weekend, as I will be spending a lot of time watching it.
Yeah, Timmy, give it to me. Winner, dark horse, and who's going to have the lead after this?
I'll tell you what, I like your Goddard pick a lot. The par 5s out there are long, and 10 obviously can jumpstart your back 9. So I like how far he hits the ball. I love to see that Austin Smotherman's up on top of the board. I've known him. He was a teammate of Bryson's at SMU. And, he's such a great guy, but he seems like he's been playing some pretty good golf. So this would be a great week for him. Lucas Glover wouldn't surprise me either, man. That old guy, he can play some golf. It's funny how all these older guys.
Anybody thump it better than him?
Yeah. There's nothing. I haven't been down to the Bears Club in a long time, but I remember the last time I was there. Luke, it was a typical hot day in June in Florida, and Lucas was out there just in his cotton clothes, just sweating, hitting balls. But
just an old cool 90s shirt from Clemson,
and I think the thing about that too is, to your point, Timmy. A guy like Goddard is going to be a fan favorite in Iowa. Let's be honest. He's just a big old country boy. I don't know if he's a country boy, but he looks like a big old country boy, and it probably fits in well up in with that crowd and all those fine people in Iowa.
Yeah, the last time we shouted out Chris Goddard up on the show, he walked away with a W at Waste Management. Just a little spice special.
That's true. Richie did call that.
So let's friend of the show. We love you, Chris. Well, hopefully we can get you on here one day. But every time we call you out, if you win this week,
Thorbjornsen in the tournament. Is Michael Thorbjornsen in the field?
Let me go to the field
because
here.
these young stars have been breaking out there.
Yeah, but
What's
do
that?
you think Thorbjorn is
Yes,
already?
he is.
He is, okay. Spieth is there. That would be cool to. I mean, I like seeing Spieth do well.
Nobody likes an old dog to do better than the old
Let me
heads,
tell you
right?
something. I saw this clip on Jordan the other day. I don't know why it was on, but and I kind of related it to my golf game. It's like, I just see him get up. He's out of position all the time, and he just goes for it. And it's like, I'd rather do that than trying to control it, right? Because you can't control it, right? You can only swing at it. And I went out and played yesterday, and I just said, I'm just going to swing at it and see where it goes, man. And it helped me tremendously, because I haven't been playing a lot of golf. I've been working, but so I'm going to, that's a shout out to Jordan Spieth, man. I mean, he just sends it, he kind of has to, but I don't recommend that for a tour player.
Yeah, is that
but I
because
do
he's
recommend it
lost,
for
or
the
is that because he
golfer.
just doesn't have a better way to do it?
Well, it's so relatable too, Timmy, because it's like, how come I have an insane imagination and can see every shot if I have to start it through a hole and bend it around the tree? But if I'm in the middle of the fairway and the pin's in the middle, I'm like struggling to find some sort of picture in my head because I can't. I'm like, it's too much.
Oh, quick U.S. Open story qualifier, Timmy. You'll love this, and it kind of leads us into our next segment here. We're standing on a par 5 tee, and it's just straight. I mean, it is tree line straight on the backside down there. It was 15, I think, at Manor Country Club. And we get in the practice round. Chipper stands on the tee, and I'm down on the right, and he kind of goes, "Huh?" I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Can't really see this one. It's real straight." And I'm like, "Start it left of the bunker, little cut. Like, let's do this."
It's too
And
straight.
he's like, "I just can't see it, Spice. I can't start it far enough left."
It was too straight.
It was. It is. And that's what, those holes happen, right? And
Yeah.
you talk about playing Timmy and Chipper. We got a lot of state AMs going on right now. A lot of qualifiers going on.
Yeah.
Shout out to our amateur crowd here. This is golf season. July, August, September is golf season for most of our states in the heartland and in the South. So I know we've got some guys everywhere who are listening out right now, probably getting ready for, well, maybe not this weekend, but next weekend for a state AM or a state open.
Yeah.
But Chipper, what's Florida's schedule down there? I think they've already had state AM. Is that right?
Yeah, they just had the state amateur. A young kid that's going to Auburn came back and won. He's 17, of course. State opens in a couple weeks down at Longboat Key. There was actually a qualifier at Legacy the other day for that.
Nice. Love Longboat Key.
North and South amateur going on right now in Pinehurst. I think they cut to 32 and they go to the match play. It's mostly college kids. Shout out Big Nate from Georgia. I know he barely missed match play. And then Nate Smith from Idaho. I know he was playing. I don't know if he qualified. That's, again, those are the events where you don't, mid-ams might get in and you rarely see them in the match play portion.
Right.
Obviously there's a few exceptions. It's just the depth in that field. From, you see this guy shoot 17 under and he's class of 2029. You're like, what is going on?
Class of 2036.
Obviously, the Northeast Amateur up in Rhode Island was last week. And from the college kids, from the high level amateur stuff, this is kind of when the season begins. They just go from just amazing place to amazing place. U.S. Mid-Am qualifying starts pretty soon. I know the second stage of U.S. Amateur qualifying as now they've broken up the AM. Instead of 36 in one day, it's 18 and 18.
Probably smart for the heat.
Yeah, and now they're doing this thing where if you win your state amateur, I don't know if it's every state, but it's a lot of the states, you get exemption into the U.S. Amateur, which is at Marion this year, which, oh, man, what a place that is. And shout out Matt Vogt from Indiana, the famous dentist who made the U.S. Open last year. He won the Indiana State Amateur just a couple days ago, so he is back in the U.S. AM. He is I met this guy maybe not 7 years ago, but 5 or 6 years ago at the Gas Grill. I'd heard about this guy that just hit it like 700 yards off the tee. He's a big dude. And clearly his game, he's figured that all out. And as all of you guys know, if you're really, really long and you can figure out how to find it, this game is really, I don't want to say easy. It's a lot easier. And Matt certainly seems to have the mojo going. So yeah, just a fun time of year. And all of us, the three of us, we've all been a part of qualifiers, and Richie and I were talking about this yesterday. And although the PGA Tour moves the needle as far as like what people want, amateur golf is the lifeblood of this game, whether it's your club tournaments or if you want to take that next step, state association stuff, and then the big stuff, the USGA qualifiers. We've all been part of it. We all know what it's like to qualify and
love
be a
it.
part of a qualifier. We all know what it's like to miss it by 1 or 2. And it stings and it sucks. And we all know
Stings
what
the
it's like to go to a
nostrils.
tournament where you want to play well and you don't, and that sucks too. But at the same time, we don't do this for a living. We all reflect. It's like, man, what a great opportunity and experience. And I've always said, yes, golf is one of those sports, regardless pro or amateur, that anybody in the world that has internet can find out how your day was yesterday. And so the ability to put yourself out there, even if it's not going to go well, is a step in the right direction. So for all of those out there that are listening that either haven't taken that next step or wondering, should I try to qualify? It's more fun to try to do it and go through the process and accept that what might happen you're not going to love than never try, in my opinion. But
Amen.
to each his own. If you like to compete, there's nothing like that. So whether it's your state association or you want to take that next step to the USGA, I encourage all of those to just pick up, try to find one tournament. I know I mentioned this in earlier. Ace and I have the 5 and 6 year old division of the father-son at the end of July. So that will be my FSGA debut this year. It's dual alternate shot stable first.
Sorry, Kyle.
I'm looking forward to that, and we'll make sure we'll have some good content as that goes. And then I have my US Mid-Am will be in August qualifier at Palmacia. So
Palmacia for the Panda, New Mexico for the Spice.
Yeah, so it's just those things are fun. Timmy, I know you've obviously now you're working too much to do it, but I know you've had some success in the days, and just kind of talk about the experience of doing that kind of stuff and how fun it really is, and frustrating at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's fun, man. I've been fortunate enough to play in 4 mid-ams and a 4-ball, or 3 mid-ams and a 4-ball. And the fun thing about it, it's like you're weak to be a tour pro. I mean, they have equipment guys out there.
So true.
Brand new balls off the deck, nice green grass. You're playing in elite club. They give you some good swag. And, I think it's so funny. I mean, I know that a million people have done this that have qualified. Like my first mid-am, my caddy, Jason Dominguez, grabbed one of the pyramids of brand new balls and slid it in the big side pocket of my ping bag. So it has some shag balls, that are nice. But it is like you're 1 week to be a good golfer. And it is so fun, dude. And, like Chip, like you were saying, look, enter one event. Like if you start playing in all your local and state stuff and you make your tournament schedule and look forward to it, you'll go out and get your butt kicked. And then you'll realize, hey man, I really need to start working on my game, and it'll steamroll into you really wanting to be competitive and play more of it. Once you taste it and fail, it really kind of ticks you off and you want to go redeem yourself. So man, amateur golf is amazing. We just had the AccuNet here in Amarillo, which is a Corn Ferry event. And they gave a spot to the Amarillo City champion, which is an amateur tournament.
That's awesome.
The tour pros were not happy about it. They're like, why are we giving a spot to some amateur in Amarillo? Well, this kid from New Mexico State, he's from Amarillo. He played, won the tournament, and then got exempt. He was on Sunday, was in second place. He ended up finishing 32nd, but I mean, he held his own and
had a chance. Yeah.
Showed that he was, that he was worthy of playing. So, I mean, I love that they gave that opportunity to the amateurs to go play with the big boys, and back it up too. So I love amateur golf, Chuck. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
There's nothing like it. And there's nothing like it.
My favorite thing, and Timmy mentioned this, the best thing about playing in USGA events is that no matter where you hit it, just about, there's some volunteers with little flags. And I promise you, well, I haven't, but my caddy has picked up more flags because they don't put a flag if you're in the fairway. So like Dole never had to really have a flag because he was in the middle. I was just looking. I would just pray that the person would put that flag down, so at least I know I'd find my ball.
Listen, I don't like to brag about myself.
Shout out all the volunteers at USGA. I don't know what I lost a lot of balls without y'all.
I'm as deadly as Last of the Mohicans with a flag pin in my hand.
Yeah, that's true.
I have gotten great with the dart throw after caddying you through these events.
That is true.
Let's move on to one of our annual weekly awards that we do. This one is always we'll start with the toddler of the two, the smaller of the two here. We got two special award winners this week, and we're going to group them together because they've been grouped together their whole life. And it's truly just out of stupidity at this point. Our Toddler Zone a Week award goes to Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods both. Congratulations, you guys have officially acted like children your whole life up until the last 6 months, and no one is more disappointed than myself, a guy who looked up to both of you for golf competitiveness and idolism, and you have completely dropped the ball. Now, with that being said, I'm sure there's other members of this show who have a few more opinions on it. I'm going to let them share, and I will keep mine to myself. We're certainly disappointed here that you guys are receiving stickers. Panda, I'm going to throw it to you for first thoughts on golf's greatest, meltdown of its two biggest stars of the 90s.
Yeah, I guess this comes with age as we get older, but for my money and my lifetime, the two best golfers I've seen, Scotty is probably on his way, but Phil and Tiger. I mean, Phil to me was one of the most unbelievable golfers I've ever seen, and then Tiger showed up and just basically beat his ass for 20 years, and Phil had a good run towards the end for sure. The problem I have with this whole thing is, one, the Phil story, it's hard to read that story knowing what I know about stories that have been posted before by golf writers.
Right.
Nothing that, and I'm not saying, from the beginning of time until the end of time, guys that work at golf clubs do an inappropriate thing to women that work at golf clubs, unfortunately, is just going to be something that happens. Now, whether that's true or not and how true it is, none of that stuff is really like, I can't Google search like some sort of illegal thing that Phil has done. And here's all this commotion. There's so many people that want to see Phil fail. And I know there's a lot of people out there that also wanted to see Tiger fail, but to me, it seems super hypocritical that they're going to, this whatever this magazine is funded or created, Scratch Golf or whatever it's called, is funded by the PGA Tour. They clearly have been anti-Phil for quite some time, and any chances they get to kind of bury him,
or bring it back up.
Yeah, I see it back up. And look,
no, or bring an old event back up.
Well, and again, I'm not like all this infidelity stuff. Like I said, that's just, unfortunately, that's just a part of something that goes on in America. It's not illegal. It's immoral. It's inappropriate, and all these things he's doing. But nothing he's done, Phil, other than maybe like insider trading, he's really been gotten in trouble for, like arrested for. Meanwhile, you have Tiger, who we all love. We've talked about this on all the other episodes. Fresh out of rehab, and he's now the spokesperson that Brian Rolap's bringing out and saying he's going to talk about the new PGA Tour.
That's bad form, isn't it?
I don't think you should keep bringing up old stuff. I think whatever's going on in Phil's personal life is his personal life, and for this guy to write this story and say all this stuff based on a cart kid and some other guy, like, it just seems wild to me. And the fact that these two great golfers that really, Tiger is clearly what's changed golf forever. But having Phil there was a nice addition. And obviously there were other great players in that time. But those are two generational golfers that everybody grew up. Everybody was either a Tiger guy or a Phil guy or liked them both. I liked them both. I know, Timmy, you've had personal interactions with both of them. And from everything you've told me, you loved them both. They've been great to you. It's just, I hate that we're in a time that this is the kind of this stuff we're talking about. All this stuff's getting posted about Phil. And not to, I'm not going to deflect, hey, Phil did this, but why are we pointing out Tiger? But it's just amazing to me that something that's run by the PGA Tour is kind of putting Tiger here and trying to do everything they can to bury Phil. Seems a little petty to me, and very Toddler-ish. But I know, Timmy, I know your thoughts on Phil as a person and the times you've interacted with him and his caddies. I know you've got some good stories. And what are your overall thoughts of, you've been in the arena and seen them both?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Chip. Who knows what's real, right? Phil always has been great. Tiger's been amazing as well. We played with Phil and Tiger in the Ryder Cup, and as Bryson's teammate. So I've been in battle with them on the golf course. And again, man, they've just been great to me. I don't know. Look, like you said, I got to agree with you. What they're doing is not illegal. Like you said, it's immoral. when it's, Dave Chappelle said that about Tiger. It's like, you only slept with 32 girls out of a million that you could have slept with. That doesn't seem so bad. But
that
like,
was
I'm
Ron
sure
White.
that
Ron
women
White. He
are.
goes,
But
he's got a hell of a
again,
record.
that's
Ron
not
White, yeah.
illegal. There's nothing
It's
illegal
not illegal.
about
Yeah,
that.
and look, you know what? It's hard to judge other people when you're not standing in their shoes. So they've been great to me.
Right.
That's all I
Amen.
know, man. And who knows what's real? I'm sure that, I don't want people in my closet, and I'm sure you don't want anybody in yours. So let's just keep the golf. They were
Yeah,
great players.
and that's
You know
kind of where
what?
I stand on that. Yeah.
Well, in an
You
era
need
that
to hear
doesn't have
stories
a
about
bunch
Arnold
of
Palmer
microphones and phones
and all
in it,
these
so-
guys back in the 60s.
I was gonna say,
having sex and all this stuff, and no one even thinks twice about it. So, yeah, Chip, to your point,
Right, it was
PGA
almost-
Tour, I mean, Phil's not a PGA Tour member. Maybe they're trying to beat him down a little bit. So,
that's kind of where I'm at, because it's like, I don't want to go down this road, like you said. No one's ever been in my shoes. I've never been in yours. I'm not going to judge. There are things you can look up that people have done illegally that you can Google, right? And if you see that, okay, you can judge that. But when it's this hearsay, and let's be honest, I love Arnold Palmer, but I mean, it is no secret what he was well known for. I'm not going to get into it. Like, I love the guy, but I mean, I lived in Palm Springs for 4 years. I mean, when he was still alive, there were stories. He was a legend, so to speak. And unfortunately, that kind of goes with all sports, let's be honest,
the
in life
identity,
in general. But it's
exactly.
just like
Identity of an athlete.
You're gonna maybe portray this guy this way, and then the minute something happens, goes the other way. So that's all I really want to. There's a lot more better things about this game that we can talk about than those two, but it's just unfortunate that's kind of where they are currently.
Yep.
Let's move on, Richie.
That brings us right into our Spice Sport Minute. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what else is going around the sports world. There's a ton of great action for all of us gamblers. We don't want to use the word degenerates. Also, at this point in the show, we'd like to thank you for listening. Please do all the things that you're supposed to do with the podcast, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all the major social medias. We've got some great stuff coming up. Please love all the stuff you're sending our way for our suggestions. We're going to keep trying to put it in and work with that kind of stuff. Obviously, last night, Team USA, huge victory. Woo! In the knockout round versus Bosnia-Herzegovina. Did you guys stay up and watch it? It was a 2-0 final. Extremely entertaining game with a little bit of a caveat at the end there for us with a red card. But what were your first thoughts about the game last night? Are you following the World Cup? Timmy, let me ask you. I'm not going to lie. I don't expect you to follow the World Cup, but, are you following along?
Yeah, well, I looked at the line last night and saw that that the dog was plus 850. So I threw a couple of hundred on it, trying to outsmart the bookie, but because I just figured a lot of Americans would be on that, as they were. But
Yes.
I
Yep,
didn't
all
care
of
who
them.
won the game. I'm glad USA
Hold on.
won, and $200, no big deal.
Right. It's entertainment value for you.
That's funny.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good call. Plus 850. That's crazy. These guys.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things we've done this in the past. You're sitting
There's
in
a reason it was
plus.
plus 850.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason, but if you're a USA fan, that's not a lose-lose. Would you pay $200 to enjoy it with your buddies and watch it win? Probably,
Well,
that's a no-lose bet right there.
true. And I always love, there's the great Norm Macdonald, one of my favorite comedians of all time, used to tell
God
this
rest
joke.
him.
And the punchline was basically, he had lost all his money on basically betting on all these sports. And the cab driver says, well, why don't you try betting on hockey? There's a hockey game. And he goes, I don't know anything about hockey. So the guy who knows football went over 25, but is afraid to bet hockey because he doesn't know anything about it. I mean, truthfully, if you're gambling, the less you know is probably the better. Like, I don't know anything about soccer, but I know that if there's a line and I pick one, it's got a chance. But yeah, that was exciting. I think of the World Cup to me, and I've said it before. I don't watch soccer. I don't know who any of these guys are, who they play for. But when it says USA, I'm in on it, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see the fans. They're at home. I love the fact that they're keep playing in Seattle, which is arguably the greatest home field you could ever play on. I've never been, but I've always said this for years. The craziest stuff happens in that stadium in Seattle. I think it's one of the biggest home field advantages in pick a sport that rivals anywhere. So it's been fun to see. It's cool to see. I can't imagine how expensive it is to follow this team around the World Cup with these tickets.
No
I mean,
kidding.
it's like, yeah, it's like going to the Super Bowl, like 6 of them.
Yeah, we gotta.
Yeah.
Well, this guy made the head for the screw. He made the bolt, and they can't electrify you.
But
I'll
yeah,
take my $200
yeah, shout out.
last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Shout out, shout out USA and shout out the United States, Canada, and Mexico for just putting on a great show. Yeah, it's I know we talk about this all the time. Everybody knows, we all agree it's the greatest country in the world. But when you see people come here from other places, yes, we have foods that are banned everywhere. Okay, we get it. Blue Doritos don't exist anywhere but America. But you know what? We're all going to die one day, and nobody gets to pick how and when. So it is fun to see everybody coming over and listening to, especially the Australians when they're like, hey, Pete, y'all are so nice. These beaches are great. Like, I just wonder what they put on the news. Like, what is America? But I guess we can look at our news and know that most of the stuff we're watching is probably leaning one way or the other, or somewhat fabricated. But yeah, shout out USA. Great time of sports. Wimbledon going on as well. I'm a huge tennis fan. Love watching tennis.
Got some early news in Wimbledon too. Ben Shelton got bounced. Obviously, there's Serena playing.
Andreeva lost. It's funny to see.
It's gonna be a great tournament.
Yeah, it is. It's always fascinating to watch. The Djokovic is out there with his kids watching. Serena played. She lost, but it's cool, man. It's a great tournament. Looks like a fun event. Never been.
Trying to get there in 27.
Timmy, when you were over there, all the times you would go for the Scottish and over there, did you ever spend any time in England or have an opportunity to be anywhere near Wimbledon when in all your travels over there back in the day?
Yeah, I was supposed to go with Bryce, and he is sponsored by Rolex, so they we could have gone to the Rolex suite. He went. He had to have a suit. I was already over there. All I had was golf attire. I was like, I don't want to go drop $1,000 for a suit in one day and maybe get there. So I just didn't go. But
to hang out with
I
Bryson.
would love to go.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I would have rather been hanging out with Rory in his green jacket, sitting up there. But yeah, I would love to go to Wimbledon. I mean, it's like our Augusta. It's our Masters.
Yeah,
so.
right. It's the Augusta tennis for sure. It might be. I mean, it's actually older. It's been around longer, so it's almost like. I mean, it's not better, but from a historical standpoint.
Sure. The history goes deep.
Yeah, and we'll touch on the Open Championship going forward. I got a chance to go to Scotland and Ireland last year. First time I'd been over there. I don't know if you've been over there yet, Richie, but there's something about being over there that's just really cool. And I don't know what it is. I mean, it's another country, but
vibes.
It's a nice change in vibes and
different lifestyle. They pay a lot of taxes though. I was currently working with a Spanish couple and boy, they gave me the lowdown on what it's like to live in Spain. And not that I'm saying it's not fun or relaxing or it's a different lifestyle, but at the same time, whatever you make just goes straight away. So very little monetarily you have. So different country, different lifestyle for sure. Different places in Europe. It's great that the train system's over there. I took advantage of that when I was hanging out over there. Love that. Love that we can do that. Wish we had something more. I wish Amtrak was more trusted in America. Is that the way to say that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a socialist country, so like the
right, exactly.
So anyway, but that's for another show. But it does look awesome over there, and I'm down to go to Wimbledon as well.
No doubt. And it's Wimbledon comes at a great time because technically I think the deadest day in sports is the day after the MLB All-Star game, which MLB is coming up on their break. A lot of good headlines. Unfortunately, the team in LA is still very good. The Braves are not very good.
It's over, everyone. Just so you know, it's over.
I just need listen, the injury bug hasn't quite come around. We need to get a little bit of spice over there in LA, put some voodoo out there, do something. We got to make the playoffs competitive.
Well, Blake Snell hasn't even thrown a pitch yet. He's just hanging out and waiting until September.
And that's the problem is like you guys have guys on your roster you're not even going to start. They're just like getting in there now. You're like, let me get the arm loose.
The Dodgers will basically play 162 game preseason schedule. Mine it with their pitchers, but yeah, anything can happen. Round ball, round bat. I've seen crazier shit happen, but right now they're dialed.
The gambling stat of the year is that if you bet every money line on the LA Dodgers every game to this point, you're dead even.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Well, yes. Well, I've always said it's you either bet against them every night or bet them -1.5. And I think if you did that 162, because
I
like
think
you
you'd
said,
be winning.
yeah, I mean they're going to win 105 games, which means they're going
Or
to
just take the over. Jeez, can y'all score any more runs?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Anyway, MLB break coming up, right? British Open coming up soon. A lot of good things coming up here for July. In the South is stay cool. It's ungodly hot. We do have the greatest American holiday coming up of all time. It's the 250th birthday of our nation. I think what has been great about having the World Cup here is this. Basically, we've cemented the fact that we are the greatest place to live. You can't say it anywhere else. If you didn't know then, you know now.
Yes.
You've seen all the social media posts. Timmy, you're off this week. What's going on tomorrow? Are you prepped? Do you have your fireworks? You got your Roman candles ready? What are the plans? We start with Timmy. Chipper, follow him.
Man, I'm just Friday having about 15 people over. We're just going to barbecue, have some beers, just relax. Saturday morning playing in a tournament at my club, Amarillo Country Club, and then going to a pool party on the 4th of July and then watching fireworks. So full event schedule. Excited about that.
Timmy, over under on number of silver bullets that go down this weekend?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, just in the 2 days, Friday, Saturday, 39.
I like it. 38 and a half is the number, guys. Text us if you want action.
Can we just go ahead and Coors Light is America's beer, correct?
The Coors family is America's beer family, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Coors, there's nothing more American than Coors Light.
I don't think so. Some would say Budweiser, maybe but obviously since its recent brand demise, maybe rebranding. Who knows? Who knows where they're at right now? There's no way the Silver Bullet isn't America's beer.
Well, I was drinking Banquet small bottles in Montana.
They taste different, Chipper. I'm telling you, they're not the same as they are in Florida.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, and you got to remember this Rocky Mountain water too.
We're a Pro Coors podcast. Just so anybody's wondering, don't save your ats with Miller Lite and Bud Light. To me, we're Coors Banquet, Coors Light only. As far as my 4th of July plans have been a little altered. A little personal note: my mother went in for just basic knee surgery on Tuesday, and unfortunately, while they were fixing her knee, they broke her leg. So her recovery time of 2 weeks has now been extended to 12.
God bless you, Mama.
We have a house rented for her close to us, so she didn't have to worry about getting in and out of up to her condo, and so just a bunch of stuff has changed. So we're going to be hanging close for the 4th of July. There's
Family first.
There's a little red, white, and blue scramble at the club the morning of the 4th. My youngest daughter is home from college and wants to have a party at my house, so that's probably going to be going on. And then, we're going to be cooking out and shooting some bottle rock. Not bottle rock. Shooting some Roman candles. I've seen some great stuff online. These you buy a box, you light a fuse, and it shoots like 300. Sizzlers.
The preloads.
Yeah, man. I just
just light that and let's see how fast Ace can run.
Yeah, Ace is all in on the fireworks, but we're just going to be keeping it close, keeping it safe, keep all of our fingers, and just hanging out. Spend a little bit more time with my mom. So, that'll be it. How about you, Spice? What you got going? Tell us that, and then I'm going to go right into rapid fire, and we'll close this baby out.
Love it. We have this amazing neighborhood here in Atlanta. That is true. Kind of like this tennis. I call it the country club, even though we're not. But our HOA is awesome. We have amazing people who lead it, and we've got this guy who's a true pyro. I mentioned on a couple of episodes ago. He's got it's a half a trailer full, and it's going to be 45 to 50 minutes of fireworks. So that will be in capped. But we got fishing rodeo at 7:30 for all the kids in our lake here. We got some nice bass. Then we've got a pool games around 11:30. Then we've got a cookout at 5:30, followed up by the fireworks. So we are cemented starting tomorrow.
Hang on, real quick.
Yeah.
What are the odds you're awake at 5 o'clock?
Well, I mean, the odds are very good. I am a parent in this neighborhood, so unfortunately, I try to.
That's
although
true.
I might be considered somewhat of
All right,
the
what are
party
the odds you'll know
ringleader,
where your
but-
kid is at 5 o'clock?
Zero. Nor do I care. Which is, I think, the great
That's
part
the best
about
part
my
about
neighborhood.
a good neighborhood.
There's 40 other moms and dads who are,
that's so
hey,
funny.
your kid's at my house. We get a text. We truly do. It's one reason my wife will probably never want to leave this neighborhood while my child's growing up. Can't blame her.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
But
Shout out,
that's what
Marietta.
we're doing.
Okay, good.
So,
well, right on. Well, great stuff. Great show. Glad we got this in. And again, as Richie said earlier, thank you to everybody out there listening. Hopefully you're listening to this on your drive to hang out with either your favorite in-law or your parents, whoever made you feel guilty about why you haven't seen them in a while. I'm sure you're on your way to see them, or you're just having a nice, relaxing weekend with your family. So again, we can't thank you guys enough. Stay with us. This is episode 17. So that in itself is an accomplishment as far as I'm concerned. We're going to keep rolling and keep going, and we got some exciting things, some content managers coming. So we're pretty fired up. So we're going to do this rapid fire. We're going to try to keep it somewhat festive, but also golf related. I'm going to start with you first, Richie. You get to the first tee, you're playing with some new people. What is the biggest red flag that you see when you see somebody that you're about to play with you don't know? What's something that stands out as a red flag where you know it might be an interest?
oh man, it's clothing. 100%. It's the way you dress. There's 12 to 15 acceptable items, and then once you get outside of that, if you're not in those, you're out.
Like towel hanging from the back pocket.
Cargo shorts, towel hanging from the back pocket, 1990s
Golf
cotton
sandals.
shirt, hat that doesn't fit your head. It's like you wearing a hat on a golf course, Chipper. You just don't. If you showed up with a hat on the first tee, I would be like, I'm not playing with you.
I mean, if it's cold, if it's below 50, I'll wear a fitted hat. Okay. Well, that kind of goes into my next question, and I'm going to throw this to you, Timmy, because you've caddied for the best players in the world, but you've also had to caddy for the worst players in the world at Bandon Dunes or in Pro-Am. What is the fastest way to know someone isn't breaking 90?
Oh man. Well, I'd say prior to Aaron Rye, iron covers would be a good start. But
yes.
No offense,
That's true.
if you had Nike
That's a
irons,
good one.
you were probably weren't breaking 100 either.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
So funny. All right, this one's for our resident animal on staff, Richie Spice. Which animal would make the best scramble partner?
I gotta. Oh God, I gotta say the gorilla. I mean, if anything's gonna, one swing, you got one
You would
chance.
say gorilla, Spice.
It might go 1,000 yards.
Yeah, you're a resident gorilla. I get it. That's why when I try to explain to everybody what Richie's like, I'm like, it's a Labrador gorilla cross.
Yeah.
I was a small basketball player, but a large person to most people.
So funny. That's a great answer. Yeah, I mean, you're going to want the distance off the tee, and hopefully someone else.
I mean, he's no worse than the fourth scramble player in your scramble anyway.
Yeah,
that guy sucks.
True.
So you might as well take a chance on a long drive guy, right?
So we get all these crazy rulings all the time. What's a rule in golf? And Timmy, I'm going to ask you this because you're out there. I don't know you're not there to assess the rules. You just call over a guy. But is there a rule? And I know you're not going to say divot or plugged bunker because that just is what it is. What's a rule in golf? I think I might know what you're going to answer that you would just love to eliminate forever.
A rule in golf I'd love to, I'd love to eliminate out of bounds, Like, why can't you just drop it up there?
No kidding.
Right? You have to drop it at one club length from the OB stake that you last crossed. You're in the shit already. At least you can chip it out. Pace of play, 2-stroke penalties pretty severe.
It is so punishing.
Oh, it's make everything lateral. I'm going to put that on a new.
And my take real quick,
school.
and I see a lot of people talk about the divot. And here's the fact about the divot, and whether you guys agree, I don't know, but you can comment if you do. Who determines what a divot is? And that alone is why you can't make that rule. because is it once a divot? Is it forever a divot? Like this was a divot a month ago. There's grass growing back. I mean, there's
what is
so
a
many
perfect
things
lie?
in that. So, unfortunately, if you hit in a divot, instead of saying, man, I just got fucked, just say, hey, watch this. Turn it into a positive. Be great. Nothing wrong with trying to be great at this game. All right, last but not least, hot dog or Uncrustable at the turn?
No doubt.
Uncrustable,
It's a
100%.
dog. Oh, no doubt. I mean, is the Uncrustable chilled or is it room temp?
Okay.
Yeah, there's all kinds of
And
caveats.
you
So,
go, is it like,
chill?
are we like in a tournament or am I just at the club?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to give you my Uncrustable story. I'd never had one before in my life, even though I'd bought them for my kid. That's not true. I've never had one at a golf course. Years ago, I don't mean to name drop, I'm playing with a guy named Michael Jordan. We make the turn. I walk in at the Bears Club at the little halfway house next to the 10th hole, and I see MJ open the fridge and grab an Uncrustable. And I'm like, well, I'm having one. And that was the first time I'd ever had one at the golf course. And I see him everywhere now. I'd never seen him before, and I'd played some nice places. Usually it's more like ginger snaps and peanut butter and hot dogs. But yeah, once I saw the goat grab an Uncrustable strawberry grape, I was like, I got to have it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you dip into strawberry jelly, we got to talk.
Yeah, so grape Uncrustable for Timmy and a hot dog for our resident Gorilla Spice.
Yeah, I think that's, again, a good question. Is this tournament golf? I'm not eating nothing. So
yeah, tournament golf. I can't. Yeah, it's hard.
I don't eat. But if we're out and I've had a couple of trannies and maybe a south side or two, a graham cracker with some peanut butter. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a dog with little onions on if I can. Maybe some mustard.
Yeah. See, now I hear you there. Now, for me, if I'm in the middle making a turn, just because of my experience as resident spill boy and I'm a mess, like I start throwing stuff on a hot dog. It's like that first bite. I think I told you this story, Spice, one time. My dad had played in the Butler Invitational and he brought this badass shirt back from Butler National. White shirt. It was either Ari's or Ashworth. I'm like 16 years old. I'm getting ready to go to the golf course. I go in his closet and there's this shirt and I'm like, ooh, I put this thing on. I get to the golf course and my dad's like, what the blank are you doing wearing this shirt? And I was like, I didn't have any shirts. And he's like, you better not spill anything on it. I'm like, Dad, I'm not going to spill anything on it. So we're playing International Town and Country Club. We make the turn. Of course, I'm getting a hot dog with mustard and onions. First bite. I mean, the shit fell all over me. But you know how my dad is when he gets mad. Oh, it's so funny.
Gosh darn it, Chip.
I guarantee
I can't
he
believe
still
you.
remembers that.
He remembers.
Chipper, did that shirt come down to about here on you, right about the wrist on the sleeves?
Hey, in the 90s, you wore giant shirts, like the big Ashworth. I love that stuff. Oh, I would, and I mean, his worst nightmare was I liked wearing extra large, even though I was a large back then, and we had the same shoe size. So my collection of shoes with nails were all of his because he was a shoe whore forever. Shoes and lob wedges is what I grew up around, hanging out with my pops. But anyway. Richie, you want to wrap this up? For all those, again, we can't thank you enough for listening and all the comments, and we're looking forward to what's ahead, and happy 4th, and hopefully the next time you listen to this episode, you will have all 10 fingers. Stay safe, be safe. Richie?
God bless golf, everybody. Find us on Apple and everywhere you can find your podcast. Like, subscribe, do what you're supposed to do. Have some fun with it. We'll have some posts from clips from this on Instagram. Send us some stuff you want to see, and we'll go from there. Timmy, God bless golf. Panda, have a great 4th of July. See you later, everybody. God bless golf.
Yeah, God bless golf.
That's
God
right,
bless
boys.
America, boys.
God bless America. Peace.